Hi, welcome to 60 Matthews. I'm Matthew, and I'm going to try yoga every day for a month. Now, yoga is not a new practice for me. I've spent a fair amount of time on a yoga mat. But if you haven't noticed, I'm not that good at committing to things. I climb pretty regularly at the rock wall, but that's the exact opposite of what yoga does. Climbing is all about strength and muscle. Yoga is all about stretching and feeling good. As of late, I haven't been feeling that limber. I feel like I'm losing circulation faster, like in my fingers. I'm not as stretchy as I used to be. Things hurt. I don't have as much energy as I used to. So I've got my yoga with Adriene, and I'm gonna dive right in. So I just got done with day 2 of yoga, and I'm feeling really good. I worked this morning. I had a really early morning. I didn't get that much sleep, and then I came home and took a nap because I was just really tired. I knew I had to do yoga, and I just didn't. I wanted to get to where I'm at right now, but I didn't want the process really, just because I thought that it was going to be a lot more strenuous, and it wasn't. It ended up being pretty okay. I've done some more intense yoga before, but I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm just trying to ease back into it, trying to just warm my body and warm up, and I'll get to the more intense stuff later where I'm not going to break myself. So for now, I'm enjoying the process. I wouldn't say having fun, but I'm not trying to build a lot of strength. I'm trying to kind of ease away from the strength and more into just feeling good in my body. So I'm enjoying it. It's just day 2 though, so I don't want to say anything too damning. I just finished with day 7 of yoga, and I feel awesome. It feels really, really good. I haven't really noticed much of a difference in my everyday life and my body during the day. I haven't really noticed any major changes of like having more energy or feeling more flexible or anything like that. But doing yoga now feels a lot easier. I feel like I'm more flexible and I can do more now. But before, I always think, well, maybe I'll do a shorter one, and whenever I get started, I say, oh man, this one's gonna be rough. But then I get into it and it gets easier, I get more flexible, I get more energy, it doesn't seem nearly as hard, and Adriene takes it easy on me. Adriene makes it a lot easier. So thank you, Yoga with Adriene. I'm loving this challenge so far. I made it to 2 weeks. Jackson wasn't interested anymore. I feel good. I do feel the effects that it's having. I wouldn't say that it's giving me any more energy throughout the day, but it is making me feel less strained all the time. I don't injure myself quite as much, like I'm getting any weird twists or bends or just hurting myself randomly. My circulation is getting better. I feel like just making my blood move more is helping with a lot of that. To be honest, this week has been a little bit more challenging. Okay, a lot more challenging. There was one day whenever I was stuck in the city, and I love being stuck in the city. I get to walk around. I took my camera out and I had a nice time walking around. but I walked for miles. It didn't strain me. I didn't pull anything. I didn't overwork myself. And that night doing yoga really wasn't that bad. I was able to get in the flow of things and I was still kind of jonesed from walking so much. The next day wasn't really that bad. I was still a little bit sore and tender, but it wasn't really that bad. But 2 days later was rough. That's whenever everything caught up to me. I had been working at the coffee shop too. I didn't do anything too strenuous. I was able to just do a nice and relaxing flow, and it was helpful. And then the next day was another difficult day where it wasn't nearly as difficult as the day before, but I was still sore from walking and working, and I haven't stopped doing yoga. So a lot of that just was catching up to me. But now that's worn off a little bit. I've had a couple of days off. It's feeling really good. I'm still feeling very motivated to do it. Never once whenever I had to do it was I in pain or was it painful. It was just a matter of getting off my ass. Now this may sound irrelevant, but one of my favorite lines from a TV show is from BoJack Horseman when BoJack takes up running because he's motivated and he wants to change his life, and so he starts running up this hill, and he does it like the first day, and he gets to the top and he's just worn out of breath. And one of the running jokes is that this baboon, I think it is, some type of monkey, walks by the hill every single day. Like throughout the series, this monkey is like walking up the street. He's never in the show other than just that shot. Like whenever it introduces the scene, it's got that monkey running up the hill. And so BoJack starts to run up the hill. He tries a couple of times and gives up. He makes it like 2 or 3 steps and gives up and goes back inside. And then finally one day he reaches the top and like passes out over on the side and is proud of himself, but he's still just like he's very near death, just because he's not near death, but he's worn out. He's got his eyes closed and he's like panting a lot, and then whenever he opens them, the baboon is in front of him. He says it gets easier. You have to do it every day. That's the hard part, but it does get easier. I love that. It's so simple, it's really dumb, but it's beautiful and it works, and it's so true. That's how I feel about yoga. We get it in our heads that the hard part is the actual act of it, of doing yoga, of going on a diet, of working out, whatever we challenge ourselves to. We think that's going to be the challenging part, but it's really not. The commitment to that is the challenging part. I think that's what this practice is teaching me most. The hard part is not the actual action of it. Doing yoga is not really that hard. It's the commitment to doing it every single day that's challenging. But doing it so far really isn't that challenging, so bring on 2 more weeks. "30 days of yoga." I feel fantastic. I really do. It hasn't been super transformative in the rest of my life in terms of, I don't feel like Superman. I don't feel like running and jumping off of things, or I don't feel better whenever I run and jump off things. I still get hurt sometimes. I was getting to the point where I wasn't having nearly as many like weird aches and pains or just like turning the wrong way and hurting myself. But then yesterday, as I was doing yoga, I think I just started off too intensely and didn't warm up enough before I started doing downward dog. And I pulled something in my shoulder. I don't know if it was pulled because it wasn't quite as painful, but I could definitely feel it whenever I was doing certain things. But that being said, I worked it out a little bit, and then today it's completely gone. So I feel like I'm not getting as much weird aches and pains as I was, and whenever I get them, I can recover a lot easier than I used to. So it's definitely helping me in a lot of ways. So I do feel like it's making me more flexible. It's making my body more able to cope with the weird strain I put on it every day. And as far as the energy goes, It's weird. I don't feel like it's giving me any more energy throughout the day, but I do notice whenever on those days, whenever it's hard to get myself on the mat and to really start going, like once I do a few like ups and downs and downward dogs and some warrior ones and some warrior twos, after a few, I think, okay, well, I'm just going to take a quick 10 or 15 minute. And after 10 or 15 minutes, I'm like, well, I could do another couple of those. And I end up getting energy. And then after the fact, I always end up feeling this like elated, not quite euphoric, but just pleasant energy, if that makes sense. I think that's the best way to put it. It just feels really great. As for doing it every day, I probably won't keep that up because some days I'm just more strenuous on my body, and those are probably the days that I should be doing it anyway. But I think my body could use a break sometimes, but I'm definitely going to keep it up. It definitely taught me to keep at it, and the more you do it, the less hard it is, or the easier it is, if you want to put it that way. It's definitely taught me a lot, and I'm so thankful for putting myself through this not that challenging challenge. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.